Hello, welcome to Talk a Good Game. It's match preview West Ham United against Leicester City. Gons, as always, would you kindly kick us off with your thoughts on the Foxes, please?
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on with the Foxes. Actually, Gio. To be fair, I thought they were going to get their bottom smacked when they came up to the Premier League. I don't want them to get their bottom smacked. Let me make that clear. I don't want anyone to get their bottom smacked for spending money and being ambitious. But I thought they were. I thought they'd sort of dodged some rules in the Football League, but when they got up to the Premier League were going to get them. I don't know if that means that the Premier League haven't got them, so they won't get a points deduction. Then they'll go back down to the Football League, and the Football League will get them. I don't know. You just feel it's a bit like catch the pigeon. I just feel like someone's going to get them at some point because they've been naughty and spending money. How dare they showing a bit of ambition? I don't have strong thoughts on them, in all honesty, Gio. I sometimes look at them and think that they mirror. I always look at them because our final season at Upton Park, and up until the point where we lost to Swansea, we were very much in with a shout of doing good things that season, of Champions League football, quite possibly. They obviously won the league. I thought that Mahrez was the best player in the league that season, but I thought that Payet was the second best player in the league that season. So I saw parallels, and they won the league. That was absolutely brilliant. Obviously, they win afterwards. They won the League Cup. They won the FA Cup, didn't they?
They won the FA Cup under Brendan Rodgers.
FA Cup, absolutely brilliant, really. So fantastic. They off the back of their success, and obviously their owner passed away again in a match against us. A helicopter crash, very sad there. They'd built off the back of his wealth. They'd built a really, really good academy and training complex there as well. I do think that the start of the decline for Leicester was COVID, because their owner and his family, obviously his owner passed away, but the owner had made his money in airlines and air traffic control and that sort of stuff. And obviously COVID shut down international airline travel, and it absolutely decimated their wealth. So they no longer had the same amount of money to invest in. I don't believe the son is as canny or as maybe motivated as the father was as well. So I think when you've got a lessening of wealth and somebody that's not quite as competent, it all factors in, and they're sort of swiped their legs out from underneath them, really, didn't it? When all that sort of stuff happened, and now they are, I think, a yo-yo club, basically.
Yeah, there's Leicester on the field and there's sort of Leicester off the field, isn't there? It's two separate conversations, but certainly off the field it takes the on the field to some extent. And that song, what does the fox say? Obviously the answer is, well, we don't really know, and I think that's the case for Leicester City fans. They don't really know what their owners say either.
What the fuck's going on?
Yeah, hey, it is a good one. Because they don't speak. There's a Project Reset is the fans' protest at the minute from Leicester City fans against the ownership and the running of the club. And I completely understand it. And I think a lot of people would say, well, hang on a minute, you've had it all right. You've won the Premier League, won the FA Cup. A lot of people would, give up a lot to see that happen at their football club. But when someone, or collectively their fan base, loves the club as much as they do, it is hard to sit back and watch your club be run poorly, and very poorly in their opinion, hence why the protests have started. And I completely understand it from an outsider looking in. I've listened to quite a bit and read quite a bit about them, and how Tap, who is the son of the passed away chairman, now runs the club, and he's running King Power. They've got Rudkin there, who's been there for over 10 years, and he's not publicly said anything. He's director of football, and he's never said anything publicly about Leicester City, their ambitions, how they run the club, or anything. And by the sounds of it, when Rudkin was there under the previous owner, it was good. They had a good relationship, and he was, not Rudkin, the chairman, was ruthless, decisive. Remember sacking Ranieri? He was like, oh, hang on a minute, he won the league last year, bang, get rid of him. We're in a relegation battle. Like, you get Pearson, he stuck by him, even though he wasn't perhaps the favourite manager, but as soon as that thing happened in pre-season, it was like, right, get rid of him, he's bad for business now. And I always thought he managed the club well. And when they sold Han Maguire, when they sold Fofana for maybe more than they were worth, they reinvested it wisely. But then their star players, the last couple of star players to leave, went for less money than should have, or no money, in James Maddison and Yuri Tielemans. And when if your strategy is based on selling a star player and reinvesting the money, that's all very well when you're selling the star player and getting above market value for them. But when you have to sell Maddison at Leicester and he's worth because of relegation, and Yuri Tielemans runs down his contract and leaves because you don't want to sell him for, less than he is worth because of his contract situation, you've then got a massive problem. So what are you going to do about it? And it looks like Leicester City's answer is nothing. But when you have a look at the managers they've appointed and have appointed, we as West Ham fans can relate to this because you say, well, where's the consistency? How have you gone from that manager to that manager to that manager? Even if you just look at the recent ones, Ruud van Nistelrooy now, you look at before him with Steve Cooper, the one before that was Maresca. Now, completely different style of play to what Cooper has. And in between then, they tried their best to get Graham Potter, and they continue to try to get Potter again and again, almost to the point that he probably tried to get a court injunction against him. Say, can you please stop counting? I don't want your job. Thank you very much. But it's an absolute mess of a club. And I've seen the way they treat their fans. And one example is when season ticket holders, we all like a plastic card. We don't get them at West Ham either, but that little plastic card with your season ticket to get in and out. Leicester City season ticket holders bought the season ticket and said, oh, you want a plastic card? 25 quid, please. So they've got to pay £25 on top of their season ticket to get that plastic card. Now, a lot of them already got a plastic card from the season before, but the club said, no, you can't have that one. You're not allowed to use that.
We're not going to put the code on that.
You need a brand new one, and it's 25 quid, please. So people say, well, hang on a minute, what's going on? So they feel like they're being fleeced at the minute. They're doing the protest, Project Restart. They're wearing yellow to games because it's a symbol of, I think, the monarchy in Thailand. It's to do with the owners. So best of luck to them. Genuinely mean that. Best luck to them. On the pitch, though, the crap. I've seen it's I guess it's a Premier League thing as well as a Leicester City thing. The bottom three at the minute are projected to get a combined points tally of 63, which would break a record for the lowest points tally from the three relegated clubs, beating the record of 66, which was achieved last season. So if you want evidence that there's a bit of a gap between the promoted teams and the established Premier League teams, it's starting to emerge now with how difficult it is to come up and to stay up. But I think there's been some really bad decisions from Leicester, bringing in some young upcoming players that play football one way and bringing in sort of older players that play football a different way. So giving Ayew and Bobby Decore-Reid like a multiple year contract on big wages, signed Edouard on loan, paid $2.5 million, he's on big wages, doesn't get a game. So it's like, well, what's happening here? Some really poor decisions in terms of that playing squad. Ruud van Nistelrooy, they gambled getting Ruud van Nistelrooy. Do you think you can excuse him because of the mess of Leicester, or is it his fault as well?
I don't care really, to be honest with you. Look, he came in and he looked good against us because they beat us, and that was his first game, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Crikey. So I can understand Leicester fans thinking, "Hey, yes, we've got a good one here." A little bit of a managerial bounce there. I just think they're crap. I think they might be the worst team in the league, and it's. I think it might be. I don't know what Luton's points were last season, but I think Luton last season were better than this lot. Actually, they sort of seem to carry a bit more of a threat in that. And I'm sorry to say that. I know it's probably hard for Leicester fans. I'm not trying to wind Leicester fans up. Far from it. I've been relegated lots of times at West Ham. I don't know. I'm not sure anyone could. I'm not sure Ancelotti could have gone in there and done any different. Really, let's be fair. No, I think it's tough. I think it's tough. I think you almost act like they're not you, but they had the benefit of choice. I don't think there was a load of people lining up. I think if anyone's sort of close to getting a Premier League job, you're probably good enough to say no to that. Potter said no to that. David Moyes said no to that. And they were wise to, because they knew there were bigger jobs coming up. Actually, it's not like they had a whole line of managers that were going to be better than Ruud van Nistelrooy. They had to take a gamble on the assistant at Man U, really. But if you haven't got the infrastructure which you've described, if you haven't got the ownership, who's probably not as canny, as I said, probably not as driven. He's probably born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's probably not as driven as the father, and he probably doesn't love football as much as the father, which is probably what got him to get involved in it in the first place. There's nothing worse than somebody just sort of doing the bare minimum on a job. And
well,
I don't
time.
Well, there you go.
The owner and the director of football both have other roles in the company as well.
You've got to love it. You've got to absolutely love it, and you got invest. I mean, you got to look at our owner, our David Sullivan. I think he works 20 hours a day on West Ham and stuff like that, and he still gets loads wrong. So I mean, as even if you're going to put loads and loads of time in, there's no guarantee that you're going to get things right, but you still got to give yourself a chance. If you can't be asked, then that's a whole different level of stuff. Sorry, it just sounds very depressing. I think if you're a Leicester fan, listen to this. I don't mean to make them more depressed.
I'm sure. I don't think you'll be adding to their misery. I think they've already got it. Sure. But the thing is, the current owner I assume, didn't want the club because his dad's death was an unexpected death. It wasn't one that was planned. It wasn't a succession, a handover, or that. But he's possibly, held on to the club for too long, and I think that's maybe, quite symbolic of Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers stayed too long. Some of the players they've got will be there too long.
Too long, yeah.
Yeah, so
who could you possibly be talking about? But yeah. Yeah,
it's quite symbolic to some extent. In regards to Van Nistelrooy, he's not been. Leicester have been crap. Right, when I watched them, I expect them to get beat every game I tune in. But the last game they played against Brentford, not only were they rubbish, their front three had a combined age of 103 years old. They did. Reid and Jamie Vardy, combined age is 103. That's their attack in the Premier League. And Vardy's all right, to be fair. He's showing he can still do it at this level. But I'm intrigued as to whether they stick with him or not when they go down. My worry is
Vardy.
Well, they
probably will. Yeah.
The thing is,
I would as well, but yeah.
At some point, I think it's going to bite them in the arse big time. This ill running of a Premier League football club, and they came back up first time. But you often see that happens once or twice, and then maybe the second or third relegation, they don't come up again. Then they actually end up stuck in that division.
A West Bromwich Albion, they call it.
Exactly. Leeds United, for example. There's always clubs that come up, go down, come up, come down, go down, stay down. Norwich City have had a couple of flirts and whatever. So there's always examples, and I do fear that this is maybe Leicester City's turn when they go down and don't come straight back up. And it's a case of what you're going to do. I would argue that Ipswich are better prepared for going down and then coming straight back up than what Leicester City are. Big summer ahead for them, I think. I'm assuming you think they're going to get relegated by way.
For sure, yeah.
Any players you admire?
Not really, but obviously Jamie Vardy, I can't remember his bloody name. Jamie Vardy. What I will say about Jamie Vardy is I can't believe they beat us last time, and that's not me being bitter. They deserved to beat us. We were bloody useless. And I remember saying it at the time. They had that McAteer, was that right? That was the guy.
Yeah, McAteer.
I thought he was very average player, and he tore us to pieces. I mean, we did silly things like played a high line against Vardy, and they scored very early and all the rest of it. But what I would say about Vardy is, in 2016, we were linked with a move for him for £20 million. And at the time I said, no way. This guy is too old. This guy has no future. It'd be so short term. He'd be finished in a couple of years. I was really wrong. I was really, really wrong. If we had assigned Vardy for £20 million back then, he'd probably still be at West Ham now. He'd just be doing an Antonio or a Cresswell. I think he's a marvellous player, and I think a testament for anyone that comes up for two things. Number one, from non-league, to do what he's done, but also to keep yourself fit, to look after your body. And it is, I think it is as an example of good self-management, a good regime of looking after yourself and having a feisty wife. I think those things will keep you young.
Real rags from riches story is that there was a thing on social media over the last couple of days. One of my friends sent it to me and said, who's the top 5 players that played in the Premier League but not play for one of the Sky Sports top 6 clubs. And Vardy's one of them. And I think, funny enough, there's a couple of West Ham ones, Bowen and Payet. There's a conversation to be had and a debate to be had, but I think Jamie Vardy would be in my 5. I think he's been an absolute fantastic striker. El Canus is someone that catches my eye now and again when I watch Leicester. Some games he looks good, and I think there's something here to work with. And there's other games he's a bit anonymous, but because it's Leicester, I'm willing to give him a bit of a pass. If an attacking player struggles to shine when you play for someone like Leicester City, I'm willing to say it doesn't mean you're a bad player. It might be the system that you're playing in. The strange thing I found about Ruud van Nistelrooy is the 2 players I thought were possibly Leicester's better attacking players. They haven't really featured much, or they're constantly on the bench, and that's Mavidi and the guy that I still can't pronounce his name, Buonotti. I don't know.
That's right.
I still can't pronounce it. I don't know why. When he comes on, the commentators say it. I repeat it. I'm like, Buonotti, right? And then I go to the video wherever it's gone.
yeah. We've all got those.
Geezer on loan from Brighton. I think he's an excellent player. When Leicester signed him on loan at the start of the season, I thought fantastic signing. That's exactly the type of signing you want to get. Someone who's been in and out of the team for a real good established Premier League team, but could be good enough to go play for Brighton. And at Brighton, that finished in the European spaces, and he was part of the squad that got them there. I thought that's exactly the type of signing you want to make. Low cost, no risk. Hopefully, will give you goals and assists, keep you in the Premier League, and then you can either try and sign him or you use that extra season Premier League's money to go and replace him. He's just not featured. On Friday against Brentford, when he came on, the stadium was sarcastically cheering the substitute. They did it for him, they did it for Mavidi, and I think that's a bad sign. When the fans are sarcastically taking the piss out of your decisions, you know they've had enough. They're now at the point where they've gone from anger to just laughing at how bad the football club is, and that's worse than anger. That means people have given up as well as fed up. Anyway, from Leicester City to West Ham United. Before we do that, just want to point in the direction of today's video sponsor, which is Match Bingo. We've got another enhanced pot. We've got another enhanced pot for this fixture. There's more money available on this game than there is in the other Premier League games this week over a Match Bingo. It is combining the traditional game with this game of football. 15 events that you need to occur in a match. There's some simple things in there like goal kicks and throw-ins. Pays out the first person to get the first line. First person gets 2 lines. First person gets full house. Plus, there's a bonus pot for anyone else that gets full house as well. £2 per play, but we've got 2 promotions for you. You buy 4 cards, you get your 5th card free. Plus, if you're a newbie, download it by using the link in the description below. Important, or the pinned comments. I've made it easy. Scroll to the comments section. At the very top, there's a comment by Ham Utd. In there's a link that says, click here, download Match Bingo app. Click it, download it, sign up. You deposit £10. They'll give you £10 free credit as well. It's a gambling app, 18 plus and over. Please gamble responsibly. Good luck, though. Hopefully, you will win, and hopefully you will join our extended list of winners from Ham Utd. Team news, quite simple actually. Only Vladimir Coufal may return for West Ham. So there's no Somerville, no Antonio, no Fulkrug, and no Lucas Paqueta. I'll let you have Coufal if you want, Gonzo. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't think you'll pick him anyway. So it shouldn't cause too much controversy. But apart from that, everybody's good. So I call that one of the biggest myths in football. Never change a winning team. Bollocks. Change a winning team if you want. Sometimes you have to. I would suggest it's stupid to stick to that. So myth. It is a complete myth. But maybe, Gonzo, you don't want to change a winning team. So would you like to give me your goalkeeper and your defence, please?
Certainly. I will have Alphonse, the unbusy, the unruffled Alphonse Areola, who, as you mentioned in our patron player ratings, didn't even get his gloves dirty, saved with his feet. We're going to put him in goal. I'm going to stay with a back 3, and so will Graham Potter for this one. I'm going to Toledo. Oh no, that's Uncle Bruno. We don't want him. That could be a problem. I think he might be banned.
Must be someone's birthday.
Absolutely. Well, in which case, I wouldn't mind betting that Todibo would be in there. I'll play him right-sided. You can tell what I've been thinking about this morning. Kilman at centre back, and the rejuvenated young whippersnapper, the Peter Panish, Aaron Cresswell at left centre-back.
Yeah, I completely agree. Areola, who's looking more and more like a Mexican cartel drug lord.
I can't complain. Look at my hair. It's hanging off my ear. I've only got 3 hairs. But I'll tell you what, I would. If I could swap my hair for Areola's, I would. I shouldn't take the mickey.
Yeah, he's looking more and more like a drug lord every time I see him. But get him in the stick. Same back 3. Right wing back, central midfield, and left wing back. What do you fancy?
I will have all of those. Yeah, thank you.
And which players would you like to play in those positions?
Right wing back, I will have Obi-Wan Bissaka, of course. Left wing back, Oliver Scarles. What else did you want to
know? Your midfield, whether you're going to continue with the 3 in there, or would you go to a 2? And
I'm going with a 2.
Who are you dropping?
I'm dropping Souček. So I'm going with Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse there, and then which I think makes my front 3 quite obvious, which is obviously Jarrod Bowen, Mohamed Kudus, and Evan Ferguson.
Well, we've got a match in 11. Completely agree. Dropping Souček, that an easy call?
Yeah. Yeah, particularly as I don't have to face him. He's like 6'4", and I haven't got to go and tell him and tell him he's dropped.
Very nice, though. I think
he is very nice. He is
able to.
He's too nice. He's too. You see that thing he went and did a. I think he called it a recovery session, and like he did a mini marathon. Like
he did half a marathon.
It's ridiculous.
With his daughter.
Oh, like nice, relaxing Sunday. What? Warm down, relax the muscles. What? 13 miles, just run 13
That's like
miles.
having a 3-course meal, then having a 2-course meal and calling it a snack.
Absolutely. So he's done. Having his picture taken with everyone. He's everything, isn't he? He's just fully committed. He's a nice bloke, great dad, everything. Brilliant. What a guy. So sorry, yes, but I'm gonna drop him because I want to. I just play the other 2 in central midfield for this one and have the other attacker.
I completely agree. Listen, it was a good performance for the type of performance it was against Arsenal. It was pragmatic. I thought the first half we deployed the mid block. It worked. Went in 1-0. Came out in the second half. Went to the low block. Sat back even further. And we barely posed a threat on the counter attack. We only had a couple of opportunities. One led to a red card, and one led to sort of a not great pass from Kudus to Ferguson. But this is a completely different type of opponent. I don't think you could get too more, drastic. It's not. There's no similarities at all. We're away to the team second in the league. We're now home to the team second bottom of the Premier League. Last weekend the 3 promoted teams all played at home and all conceded 4 goals each. That's the standard work against you. Effectively, we're playing a championship team here, and it's not being great at home for us this season. We've not won back-to-back league games this season at all. Thank you to one of our subscribers. Andy asked me, he said, "Have we won back?" I said, "Yeah. Start the season, we beat Palace and Bournemouth." So he said, "Yeah, but one of those was a cup game." Which he's right. Bournemouth was a cup game. So we've yet to do back-to-back league wins in the league this season. So I'm hoping this could be one. But we need. One of my complaints with previous managers has been that we'd go into this Leicester game and play the same team, the same formation, the same style. And I think, oh, come on. We need to show that we're willing to play the team in front of us here rather than the team that we've just played. And for that to happen, I think we need to make a change. Now, the good thing is we're only making 1. Souček out, Ferguson in, and he goes ahead of Bowen and Kudus, but it drastically changes things. The whole team changes, gives us that focal point up front. I'm really looking forward to seeing Bowen playing behind a striker under Graham Potter. I think it will work. I think it gets Bowen and Kudus enough away from, not that Leicester's centre-backs are any good. I think it's one of the worst centre-back partnerships I've seen. Take your pick, whether you want Cody or WHULEI or Fasten. They're not very good.
E. coli.
Oh, WHULEI. I don't know. Again, I don't even pronounce his name.
I like it.
Okoli. I know you spell it.
I like it. No.
He was crap against Brentford. He was dreadful. Wissa had him on toast.
Just be careful with that toast. He's got E. coli from it. Yeah, but Whistle wants to be careful.
But I want to see Ferguson doing that. I want to see Ferguson giving them centre backs to hide in, and Bowen Kudus just causing all sorts of bother for Ndidi and Samaria, who I don't think have been bad under Van Nistelrooy. I think Ndidi's performances have picked up. It's still not good. I want to see a bit of a statement from Graham Potter on Thursday, actually. We've got no pressure. We're not in a relegation battle. We're not in a European fight. So when there's no pressure on, I don't want to say shackles off kind of thing, but I expect to see a bit more freedom from the players, a bit more of an attacking intention from us. And it's an important fixture, actually, because some of our home games previously under Potter, we barely had any shots. Now, you can't say, but there's no attacking players available. Well, that's done now. There's attacking players available Thursday. Play them. There's no need to be patient with Evan Ferguson. He's not our player. Get him in the starting 11. And if he gets injured, here you go, Brighton, have your broken player back. But I want to see Ferguson tested. 5-6 games starting on the bounce.
Yeah.
Are you over your injury? Because if we're going to spend 40, 50 million in the summer, the last thing I want to do is get to the summer, go, do we spend 40 million? We still have the same debate, which is, well, he's injury prone.
Yeah.
So I want a block of evidence to say, well, he's come in, he's stayed fit, we've played him quite a lot, he's good. The only way you get that is by starting him in games like this. So, yeah, we're matching on the 11, Gonzo. Get Fergie up front.
Get Fergie up front. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go on. What's your next question?
Are you confident? Feel footy?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to this one, actually. My old man and my son are going tomorrow. So I'm not going tomorrow. Front of a very empty stadium. Going on Thursday. So, yeah, in my stead. So, I'll be looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'd be good one for him to go to as well. He's got the exam, got 2 exams today, me boy. So it's his little treat to go up to. He might have to do a little sneaky bunk off at 2:30 from his school to get up there in time. But
pretend he's got E. coli.
Absolutely,
I've got to go.
Absolutely, but if he So I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it for them. Looking forward to all the fans, and actually for. We need a bit of this, and we could do with back-to-back wins. We really could. And I'm very, very confident. It's the right team at the right time. Damn right, too, because for too many times this season, we've had the wrong team at the wrong time. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And in many respects, Arsenal was the wrong team at the wrong time, but we turned them over and did it anyway. So, back-to-back wins would be absolutely huge for the club. And it just lifts everybody's morale. It was, I saw, hello, Reese, by the way, if you're watching. So, basically, as a dad up the school who's a West Ham fan and a Hammers chatterer, watcher. And I was walking into the school on Monday, and we just walked past. I was late. He'd obviously dropped his little one off on time, and he went, "Oh, it feels better today, doesn't it?" So it does, and it did, and it really lifts you when you get a win. I felt pretty crap after the Brentford game, so back-to-back wins would definitely be really good.
Dropping off his Reese piece.
Reese, that's not. It's him. I didn't say anything. It was him.
Yeah, the next time he walks past you on Monday, he'll say it was a crap joke he made, weren't it? Yeah.
He probably will. He probably bad mouth you. Well, I'll slag you off for a little bit in the school yard. Yeah.
He won't be the only one.
No.
I don't know how to word this. I don't want to say it's an important game for Potter, but it does feel like this could be a game people are waiting for from Potter to say, right, come on, then show us what you got to some extent. We've had the excuses. We've given you the excuses. West Ham fans have been pretty patient with him, I think, and they understand the circumstances that he's come into. But it does feel like, well, can we have something now that says, oh, yeah, this is what we've got to look forward to? I think people are waiting for a performance at home where we dominate the game to some extent, where we have maybe more possession, we have more shots in opposition, we carry a threat for 90 minutes, we maybe score more than a couple of goals, and a fun performance. Arsenal was fun because we beat Arsenal, and it was a very good, hard-working performance with plenty of organisation. But because of the nature of this game with the opponent, I think the question is different. Arsenal, can you go there and can you set up your stall and get 3 points? But with Leicester, I feel it's a bit more, can you put in a performance as well as get 3 points? Can you entertain as well as get 3 points? Does that make sense?
Oh, for sure. And I think, yeah, the thing that made the most sense was fun. Because that has definitely been in short supply. It feels, and it would be for the right reasons. I mean, you've had, see, there's a fallout from the Arsenal one because they've had a meltdown, which is really funny to watch. And it's only funny to watch because they put themselves out there so much and they're so prominent, and they are the biggest football club like in modern times in terms of social media presence and all the rest of it is Arsenal. They've got the biggest YouTube channels, the biggest social media accounts, and so on and so forth. And they're very animated. They're very effervescent in the way they put themselves out there. So they've got some big characters in their sort of online fan base as well. So, you know, when they're winning, it's very big and it's very out there. And when they're losing, it's the end of the world. And because of what they do and the way they are, everyone piles in. So Paddy Power are piling in and having to go back at the Arsenal fans, and a few of them are having a meltdown. You've got a couple of West Ham fans doing the Lewis Skelly celebration who'd actually mocked Haaland, and you got the stay humble thing, and everything's kicking off. And they're Arteta looks like looks like a pressure cooker at the best times anyway, with steam coming out of his ears. He looks like he's losing the plot. So you have all this stuff. You don't just beat Arsenal, you get a few days fun afterwards as well, which is highly entertaining. So this is just a game of football. You don't get that here. There's no you get the joy of beating Leicester City if you beat them, but you don't revel in it for days afterwards because their fan base isn't like the Arsenal fan base. So in many respects, this is more important because this was a game that we should have won before. And it might have even been, this might have been, I know technically it wasn't, but this possibly should have been or might have been the final nail in Lopetegui's coffin. This was a bad one. You couldn't lose this. He did a really good interview, excellent interview, actually. I thought he made some great points in it in the Observer section of The Guardian on Sunday. And he was very good at talking up what he did well. And I felt there was an honesty about what he didn't do quite so well as well. That was unacceptable what happened against Leicester before. It's not for Graham Potter to avenge it, but it is for the team. That shouldn't happen. This is really, we need to see some progress now. I agree with everything you said. I think we need to be a little bit more expansive, but also Potter doesn't want to go too much because he's incrementally trying to train his new system into the players. I think after Brentford, he probably had a look at it and thought, I might not do it yet. So he doesn't want to completely metamorphosize yet because we're going to have to play Newcastle. Then we're going to have to play Everton. They're going to be two different types of teams to play against as well. So he might find that he wants to retain a lot of what happened against Arsenal. But I think a very, very basic thing of swapping out a midfielder for an attacker will probably do it. And he does need to get Evan Ferguson fit and firing and up and running. So, yeah, all good stuff, really, mate.
Yeah, I'm confident as well. It's hard not to be. There's two elements really when you sort of go into a game in terms of how you're feeling towards it. It's the opposition and there's your team as well. Both impact that confidence. And with Leicester, so well, they're just not very good. The players' heads had dropped. I thought they were completely rattled against Brentford. And just before the halftime whistle, if I was wondering if there's maybe a red card on the horizon because Leicester players were starting to just get a little bit choppy with some of their tackles, and you could tell they were getting individually frustrated. There was a bit of finger for Brentford's fourth goal. There's arguments going on and finger pointing going on the pitch between Leicester players. Yeah. Now, I don't mind that, actually. There's got to come a point where, as a fan, you're watching it going, well, show us you care, right? We've just conceded 4 and you're all just, oh, okay then. But actually seeing two players having a go at each other, saying this is your fault, buck your ideas up. I think it can actually be quite a good thing to see that. But I did feel like it was bubbling a little bit. And then, the fans, half the stadium was emptied after half an hour. They'd gone home. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. We've been in that situation before plenty of times with the move to the London Stadium under Slaven Bilic, under Pellegrini, where it's not been good. You sat there, and especially under Slav at the end of his tenure, we were conceding 3-4 goals a game. It is not fun.
No. It's not.
So Leicester are not good. We've come off the back of a bad performance against Brentford, but before that, we had a good one against Chelsea. We had a really good one against Arsenal. There's some players that are in form themselves, and then collectively we played as a team. against Arsenal and played well. Like I said, it's now, can you get Ferguson there? Can you make minimal changes, but dramatically change the way that we play? And I think he can. Like you said, taking Souček out, it keeps the defence the same. It keeps, to some extent, the midfield relatively similar, but it adds Ferguson and completely changes our attack. It's hard not to be confident, and that's dangerous being a West Ham fan. We've been here before, beat Arsenal, get beat by Leicester. It's the old West Ham way, but I don't want that anymore. I want to see a different one under Potter. I want to see a win. It's important we get a win. Can I get any final words from yourself, please, Gonzo, plus your all-important score prediction?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with 4-0 for the score. That'll have all the Leicester fans, all the Leicester players fingering each other afterwards, won't it? At the end of that, I'm hoping for. I'm going to be a bit specific here, if you don't mind.
Go on.
Another good game from old Peter Panovic at left centre back there. I want to see an Ollie Scarles assist for Evan Ferguson. I'd like Kudus to score, and I'd like James Ward-Prowse to get his free kick goal. That's what I want to happen in this game. I feel like a kid with Father Christmas, Yeah,
you're not asking for much. I think I need Jared Bowen to score. I brought him in my fantasy league team this week. Okay. You get one free transfer a week. Anthony Gordon, Claire Balding is out, and Jared Bowen is in. So that's my. He's
a very thin Claire Balding, right?
He is very skinny, and he's got a face I want to punch.
Right. Well, Claire Balding or Gordon?
Anthony Gordon has a face I want to punch for some reason, but he's a fantastic footballer. However, I've had my Anthony Gordon spell. It's time for my Jared Bowen one. And also,
he used to get on the bake-off, doesn't he? She does the bake-off now, Balding, right? He could do with a cake or two, couldn't he, Gordon?
No, she doesn't. It's Alison and what's that emo guy called? Noel.
Oh, that's right. The one that was in the comedy.
He's a bit gothy, isn't he?
Funny. Yeah.
I like him, but
he's all right. Oh, well, Rog Show. I don't know what Claire. Oh, she does the swimming. Bake Off, similar, isn't it? Easy mistakes, mate.
I don't know what Claire Baldwin does. Anyway, I'm going to say 2-0 West Ham, and I'm going to go for a very comfortable and convincing 2-0. Minimal shots for Areola to deal with, and a bit of creativity and a bit of freedom for the players. I want to see us knocking the ball about. I want to watch it and think that certain players are enjoying it. When Kudus got the ball and did the most unnecessary piece of skill against Arsenal, when there was no one around him, and he was giving it to, I assume his Wan-Bissaka was in the right direction. I don't know what it's called. He stood on the ball and used his heel of the other foot to pass it. He could have just passed it normally. He did a little bit of skill, a little bit of showmanship, and then he got the ball back and Rice came over to him and he just pushed Rice away and passed it normally.
Yeah.
But I liked watching stuff like that. I want to see players look like they're enjoying playing for West Ham United. And against Arsenal at times, I thought that they were doing that. Even when it can sometimes be defensive. I think Aaron Cresswell loves smashing it. When we're winning 1-0, I think Cresswell enjoys time wasting and trying to wind up the opposition. Remember being Chelsea away. It was under Pellegrini. It was David Martin game. And we were 1-0 up, maybe 15 minutes to go or something. We got a free kick in our 18-yarder. And the ball was just bouncing. Cresswell just smashed it into the upper tier of the stand. Now, you got a booking for it, but all the Chelsea players reacted, oh, book him, oh, what are you doing? And he just walked away smiling because he's just thought, I've just wound you all up and I've wasted time. It took about 2 minutes out of the game completely. But I like it. I like fun in football. So 2-0 West Ham and 4-0 West Ham from the specific guns over there. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to Ham Chat. Also get involved in the comments below. Let us know the 11 you would like to see. I think a lot of us are going to want similar teams this week, which makes a change. And also let us know how you're feeling. Are you feeling as confident as myself and Gonzo, or are some of you got a little bit of West Hamitis? Thinking we're maybe going to. What are you doing?
I'm putting away my book with the.
What is that? Hold that up. Hold that up.
What?
Have you got a school jotter with a Hammer Chat?
You've got plenty of these. It's not a jotter. It's an exercise book.
But don't put a Hammer Chat sticker on it.
Why don't you? Why don't you? Smart my teams. This is like the wisdom. This is like the. Oh, see, nice rings.
Yes, there you go.
I haven't got that. I've just got my team in there. Wisdom in there.
We've got something in there. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. We'll catch you in a bit.